Yeah.
Next question is from Karis Salman 7891 writes, I recently came across your channel and I decided to ask a question that I've been wanting to ask. One of the important factors to writing a manga is to make the characters relatable to the readers. But for myself and possibly others, the characters I make tend to have circumstances that not many people experienced and that won't connect with the readers. So how do I make the characters relate to the readers, no matter how unusual his or her circumstances are? Jamie, what's your take?
Well, let me take an example from an American TV show that I can think of. There's a show called Switched at Birth. It's about a girl who is hearing impaired. She can't hear, and her friends and their family and circumstances. I'm not deaf. I've never been deaf, but I still relate to the character, and
Yeah,
the things that she goes through. For a character like that, you take the same issues and she just deals with them a little bit differently than I would. But I relate because I've been there, or maybe her personality is, similar to mine in a way. Not everybody's going to relate to every character. But I just think, make them well rounded, make them, personable, make them have some element of their personality that everybody can relate to, or understand. Another good example is Sherlock in the newer BBC series.
yeah,
I wish I was, but I'm not. Some super genius psychopath or whatever sociopath like he describes himself. I mean that'd be kind of cool if I had that kind of memory, but I'm not. I can't relate to that at all. But I can relate to his awkwardness in the social situations, and saying the wrong thing all the time and having people be angry at you. I can totally relate to that,
yeah,
and that makes it interesting. I think how we're similar, and I love to watch it. Or like, uh, there's just you just need to find something that people can grab onto. That's all. I mean, in like Bleach or something like that. I've never been a Shinigami. I've
yeah,
never
exactly. Yeah.
like went to the Shinigami realm. I've never held a sword. Oh wait, maybe I can't remember. I've never fought demons or any of the things that they're fighting. So why can I relate to them? I don't know. Maybe I can't relate to like Ichigo so much, but I can relate to the other characters. You know,
Yeah,
I know what it's like to want to protect someone that you love.
yeah,
I know what it's like to, you know, like someone but not know what to say, or have to step up when, something happens that you don't agree with. Or, I know what it's like to want to go on a great adventure. I mean, I think the characters are never, good characters are never so flat that there's nothing you can relate to at all.
yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, what I think most, what one thing that almost always helps is humor. Look at the Marvel movies. If you like you said, do we know how it is to be a god of thunder? No, of course not. I mean, but it's not to take yourself too seriously. And Marvel movies are doing a great job in that. Just because they put a humor, the comedy element into that, and of course, it's also dependent of the genre and the target audience because you don't want to make a horror movie and have a comedy element in it. But humor helps in very most cases.
yeah.
But if we look at the source, what is it? What humor is? It's an emotion, and I think the emotion is what we can relate to. It's not so much the circumstances, but more the emotions. So
Mm.
it's like yeah, it's first and foremost it's having interesting circumstances, because if you're not having interesting circumstances, then it falls flat. And yeah, it could be great, but if we look at the most stories that are interesting, there are circumstances we don't experience or never heard of or would only imagine to become or be in. So the only thing we can relate to is the emotion, looking at those characters and how they interact. What are their emotions? What are their reactions after experiencing those circumstances or what in the moment they're being in. If you take One Piece, for example, it's a pirate, eats special fruit, having weird abilities. Do we know what it's like? No, we don't know what it is to be made out of rubber, but it's still very interesting to see a character in those circumstances and having them do the craziest things beyond your imagination. And the way we relate to them is the emotions that are stuck in between. So I think emotion is a very good way to connect to those points. So if you experience some new emotions and some new experiences, that would also contribute to well, something you also never experienced. So if you can see a character react on a total different scale, total different emotion that you've never experienced, it's becoming interesting because you can learn from that. So we want to see the characters react, and we want to see their emotions, and that's the thing that I think that makes things relate to. So not so as much the circumstances, although it could be great, but I think it's more the emotion what we well, that builds the bridge to those circumstances.
That's a great point. Like, you know how some shonen manga just have those endless drawn-on fights that you kind of don't even care about. All they're doing is fight. Dragon Ball, Bleach, Prince of Tennis, they all have it, right? Hunter x Hunter, my favorite, has them. You know, and then there comes this one battle where the character, you know, has so much on the line, or they like grow and, you know, they learn something about themselves, and then suddenly you're like crying and you're like, oh my god, win or beat him, you know. It's that emotion, like you said, it's that emotion that really draws you in, you know. And sometimes you can have a series that has like a lull where nothing is interesting, and then you have this one moment that is so poignant that you're like, this is the best series ever, and it makes up for all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to happen time and time again.
Yeah, exactly.
If you like this video, then super smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to our How to BAM YouTube channel. It's a great way for staying updated for the latest shows and videos. If you also have a question about making manga that you want to be answered on our show, then send in your email to info@howtobam.com. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter for some great giveaways and prizes.